once again, I would like to say thank you to everybody that sent in their questions for the question and answer video. I did not get a chance to start filming this weekend because I got busy with other things, but I will have the video up sometime this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. It'll be done, posted, and we'll be good to go. But wanted to thank everybody for sending in all the questions. I got a lot of good ones. Got a lot of Godzilla questions. I wonder why. But anyway, it's, yeah, you'll be seeing that, and that will be my last video of the year. And attached to the question and answer video will also be like a short little end of the year awards for wrestling stuff, like Match of the Year, Superstar of the Year, all that stuff. So, my own little shitty, abridged version of the Slammies. As opposed to the Slammies, which is a long, overbloated, you know, overly terrible version. But, you know, yeah, a couple things I got to address right off the bat. I wanted to, you know, apologize for my NXT review. I apparently turned off the show about 15 seconds too early, and I missed Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn and setting up that feud for the future. So, I think it's really cool that they're doing that feud. It gets Kevin Owens off to a big start right away, and, you know, anybody who followed Ring of Honor a few years ago knew that the Generico-Steen feud was one of the hottest things they had going. It actually was the hottest thing they had going for a while. So I think those two could work great together. I think they can have an outstanding feud. And I'm already thinking, like, because NXT shows such patience with their build-ups, I would even go as far to say, you know, maybe they can get a year-long build-up out of this. Maybe they hold off, because they only do 4 of these 2-hour specials a year. They can hold off on doing a one-on-one Sami Zayn Kevin Owens match until the last special in December of next year. Maybe they can. I would love to see if they could hold off that long. If not, I mean, even building it up to February would be an accomplishment. So I'm pretty sure the next special's in February. So looking forward to seeing what they do with that. I think Kevin Owens is a great addition to the roster, and I think a feud with Sami Zayn could be really good. So here's hoping. So there's that, but also I have to talk about TLC, S. And the S does not stand for the S does not stand for stairs, it stands for shit. Because that show was terrible. That show was ungodly bad. And I know a lot of people are comparing it to NXT or Evolution. And in many ways I understand why, because, you know, it's, you know, we just got this fantastic 2-hour special, and then we're getting a 3-hour pay-per-view on Sunday, and the 3-hour pay-per-view is just dog shit. I can understand why people are making those comparisons, but to me it's like, look, TLCS should be able to stand on its own by itself, regardless if there was another wrestling show that week or not. They should have had a plan in place to have a really good show, and they should have been able to book a really good show. They did not do this, and I've heard accusations that the wrestlers, quote, phoned it in. What show were you watching? I mean, I watched Ziggler and Harper almost kill each other. I watched Ambrose dive off a ladder like 3 or 4 times. I watched 7 or 8 table bumps in the table match. I saw, you know, about the Ryback-Kane match had like 30 chair shots. So I don't think it was a question of effort or not working hard. I think the show was just poorly booked and awful and over-gimmicked and just ridiculous. But yeah, not a good way for the WWE to close out their pay-per-view year. They did not have a very good one. This one was not very good. Started off the show. First of all, I didn't see the pre-show, so I didn't see the Goldust and Stardust versus New Day match. I'm assuming I didn't miss much. If Raw is any indication, I didn't miss much. But, and you'll have to excuse me, I'm a little congested now, but, yeah, started off the show with Dolph Ziggler versus Luke Harper in a ladder match for the Intercontinental title. It was a crazy spot fest, and both guys, like I said, they went out there and basically killed each other, but it was exciting and fun to watch, and it was good because it was the first gimmick match on the show, so all the stuff that they did was fresh. And that was a problem I noticed without the show, is that the more chair shots you got, the more table bumps you got, and the more ladder dives you got, and all of that stuff, by the time you got to the main event, it doesn't seem as impressive anymore. And that's kind of my problem with Lockdown from TNA. It's like, you can't do 8 cage matches and expect the crowd to be invested in all 8 of them all the way throughout the show. It's just not gonna... You can't. It's just not possible. But, in any case, I did think Ziggler and Harper went out there and just had the best match they could possibly have, and it was pretty good. So, alright, good on them for that. Then we got Miz and Mizdow versus the Usos for the tag titles. Ended in a DQ. Yeah, maybe the finish was a little weak, especially since the Usos cheated the next night on Raw to win. And it's like, oh, yay, look at those baby faces cheating. That's But the match itself was made bearable because of Mizdow, who's once again hilarious. I don't know how much longer this gimmick is going to stay funny, but for the time being, it is funny. And like I said, they could do a good Sandow versus Miz feud down the road. Heading into WrestleMania, they could have an undercard match that would actually fill out the card nicely. They're not going to do that. I can already tell you that right now, but it would. It's just something they could do, and it would actually be good, and would actually feel like a payoff to a gimmick rather than just a one-note gag that they do every week. And so there was that. And then we got the first ever stairs match between Eric Rowan and The Big Show, which was awful. I mean, just awkward as fuck. And both guys are having to maneuver these giant stairs around, and it's just, the gimmick is stupid. The match was stupid. They looked like they weren't hitting all of their spots right, which again, I mean, you're maneuvering these gigantic stairs, and that's all you have to work with throughout the entire match. So it's not like you have a whole hell of a lot to work with. I mean, this concept was just ridiculous. It was just really, really silly. And as I said in my preview, I don't like the idea of gimmick matches where only one weapon is legal, and I'll actually touch up on that in the main event. But this match, it was just awkward and slow and boring, and just wasn't very good. As expected, it was actually one of the worst matches I've seen this year. But moving on from there, we got the tables match between John Cena and Seth Rollins, which... Oh my goodness gracious. I can't even, I just can't. I can't watch these matches anymore. I just can't. These goddamn John Cena versus the world type of matches where it was basically 3-on-1 the entire time. It became 4-on-1, and then all it took was Roman Reigns to even it out. So 4-on-2. Because Big Show ran down and they did all that shit. And Cena, there was a point in the match where I was just sitting there watching it, and I was like, Cena's basically already won this match twice. And he's beaten 3 people twice. And that's the level of protection that they give to John Cena is just ungodly to me. It is so ridiculous. And I'm just thinking back, it's like, I don't remember Hogan ever getting anything like this. Not until he went to WCW in like 95, 96 when they did that stupid Doomsday Cage match where him and Savage beat 10 people. But other than that, like in the WWF, I don't remember Hogan getting like this much level of protection. A Warrior, no. Even Undertaker, to a degree. It's like, yeah, I mean, you did the Royal Rumble thing where it took 10 people to beat him, but he lost. And that's kind of my whole thing. It's like, look, if you're fighting 3 people for the duration of the match and there's no DQs and no restrictions, you should lose. I mean, that's just... It just really takes me out of the match. And it's really amazing to me that you have Big Show doing a run-in, you've got the Mercury and Noble helping out Seth the entire time. I'm just sitting there watching this like, you shouldn't be able to win in this situation. It's just ridiculous. But because it's John Cena, I'm sitting there the whole time thinking he's still gonna win. It's John Cena. I remember that match he had with Miz where Alex Riley helped Miz the entire time, and Cena still won. They've done, I mean, how many handicap matches has John Cena won? How many? There was another one I was thinking of. I'm trying to remember what it was. The cage match with Bray Wyatt earlier this year, where, and granted, Cena lost that match, but it took like everything plus the kitchen sink in a match where, you know, it's a steel cage match. There's not supposed to be outside interference anyway, but I mean, just the level of protection they are willing to give John Cena is just astounding to me, and the overbooking and the goofiness of it all. I remember watching Jericho and The Rock from Royal Rumble 2002 and thinking that match was over-gimmicked and overbooked. In the amount of things that Jericho had to do to beat Rock, like I think he held the tights, there was a low blow, a chair shot, Christian interfered, there might have been a ref bump at one point. It was just, by the end of it, I was just like, what, no shotgun? what, Jericho needs a tank? Well, like, what else does he need to actually win this fucking match? But you know what? I take it back, because at least Jericho fucking won that match. The fact that Cena could go into a match and fight off 3 people and still win is just absurd to me. And even on Raw the next night, I'm sitting there like, okay, when they did that cage match and Brock Lesnar F5 Cena, and as Lesnar walked away from the cage, I was like, Cena could still win this. I was like, the fact that like Brock Lesnar just knocked him out with an F5, and I'm still just sitting there like, yeah, Cena could still win this match. It's just insane to me that level of protection that they give John Cena is just absurd. And I was watching the 2 best friends, or the super best friends, whatever they're called. They were doing their video Let's Play of WWE 2K15, and they made a crack about Cena being like Vince McMahon's ultimate creator wrestler with the stats turned way up, and he's just like the most powerful thing in creation. I'm like, yeah, that's what they do. I mean, even when they do something good, like what they did at SummerSlam, which was shocking to see Lesnar just destroy Cena like that, and it was great, and it was like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. They undid it the next month by having Night of Champions be, I mean, it was almost like Cena flipped the table almost, and pretty much, I don't want to say he squashed Lesnar, but he handled him pretty, you know, it was more than, it wasn't 50-50. It was more Cena than it was Lesnar. And, you know, that they just, and in the month in between SummerSlam and Night of Champions, they fed Cena everybody in that came across him, like the Wyatts got destroyed, and you know, that was the end of them, because, you know, we can't have nice things, apparently. I'm still waiting on an answer for why Rowan and Harper don't like each other. I'm still waiting for that story point to be made, and that story to be told. And, you know, Vince McMahon in his podcast, when he said that he doesn't like to do wrestling for wrestling's sake, I'm like, really? Because you kind of do that a lot, but sure, okay. I mean, there's so many matches that are on Raw these days that are so mindless and repetitive and boring and just have no purpose, that it's like, yeah, sure, okay, Vince, yeah, you don't like wrestling for wrestling's sake, okay, sure. But man, I got off on a tangent. So yeah, the table match was just horrible to watch, because it just annoyed me. It's just, I was like, all right, I know the script, I know the game, just here we go, just I know. That's all there is to say. And Roman Reigns' return was kind of cool. His second return of the week. His promo backstage was not. That was awful, and they really need to work on those mic skills for him, because he's just, he comes across so poorly on the mic. And, you know, I didn't comment on this. I do question whether or not he legitimately won Superstar of the Year, and I'm not trying to be an asshole and saying that I hate Roman Reigns by saying that. What I'm saying is I just have my doubts that a guy who's been off TV for 3 months won the poll for Superstar of the Year, and was not that over when he left. I mean, he was, the cheers were dying down as he was leaving. So I mean, that in a lot of ways, that emergency surgery he needed and being off TV for a while was probably good for him, because I think people were starting to wear on him. Of course, they brought it back and they didn't change a damn thing. I mean, he's like, he still got the Shield theme music. He still has the Shield entrance. He hasn't evolved past the Shield, which Ambrose and Rollins have done, but he hasn't. And it's just, okay, sure. But in any case, what was after this? The Divas match, Nikki Bella versus AJ Lee. I guess they've completely scrapped the whole Brie Bella and Nikki hate each other thing. That's just been, they've literally, Brie's promo basically was like, shut up. We're ignoring that. We're just going to pretend that never happened. We're throwing that storyline away. Never happened. And it's like, okay, it's like consistent writing. Why would I want that? But yeah, this match was just kind of there. It was one that existed. And next after that was the chairs match between Ryback and Kane, which was pretty much the same as the Rowan and Big Show match, in that it was just 2 big guys bumbling around, hitting each other with the weapon that was legal in that match. And I think they had like 30 chair shots in that match or something absurd like that. But nobody cared, and it was ugly to watch and just not very good. Next up was Rusev versus Swagger, which they rushed out there. And it's really amazing to me that a match that was clearly rushed, clearly used as filler, we've already seen it like a dozen times. They didn't build it up that well this time around. It's really amazing to me that this was actually one of the better matches on the show. It was actually, you know, for 4.5 minutes, they did a pretty decent job out there, all things considered. I mean, it was, you know, it's kind of sad that the shortest match on the card, that was clearly just a filler job, is one of the better matches on the show. But, hey, you know, that what can I say? The show was dog shit. And then we had the main event, Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, which, again, was hampered by the fact that you saw so many ladder bumps and so many table bumps and so many chairs and stairs bumps and all that other crap that by the time you got to this match, like, none of it really mattered. And it just, it didn't feel as cool as it should have been. And, of course, I have to ask this question, what's the point of it being a TLC match if kendo sticks and TVs are legal weapons? I mean, if you can use any weapon, then why not just call it a street fight? Oh, wait, that's not the name of the stupid gimmick pay-per-view that they made. So, there's my answer. I liked Ambrose in the match a lot. I thought he came off like this legitimately crazy guy who was thinking off the fly, and he was fun to watch during the match. The ending was kind of dumb because it made him look stupid. It's like, oh, he didn't think to unplug the TV before going to whack somebody with it. And it looked kind of cartoony and kind of like a bit rather than, you know, like a legitimate ending to what is supposed to be a really brutal and out there kind of match. So the ending kind of left me feeling like, well, that was anticlimactic. But I'll give him points. I've never seen that before, so it's creative. I'll give him points for thinking outside the box a little bit. But it was felt anticlimactic compared to all the other stuff that had been going on in that match. But not a bad match. Just kind of, you know, it was there. But this pay-per-view overall was just terrible. Like I said, over-gimmicked. The booking was lousy. And it just was not a fun experience to watch. It was just a bad pay-per-view all around, and one of the WWE's, one of their worst pay-per-views this year. And again, I hate to make this comparison, but coming right off of that NXT special, it was like eating the best cake I've ever had in my life and then getting punched in the gut right after I ate it. It was just, it wasn't good. It was not good. TLC, it was an awful, awful show. But thank God I am done talking about it. So we're done with that. The next video you're going to get is my question and answers video, and that will be my last video of the year, except for I am going to repost the Godzilla reviews, but the question and answers video will be my last piece of original content for the rest of the year. And yeah, the holiday season is underway, and I'm obviously having a blast. Got my shirt and everything, so I hope you all are having fun too. I will be back this weekend with the question and answers video, and we'll be good to go for the year and closing out 2014 with a bang. So until then, later everybody.